Hey, Jane, what's going on?
Hi, Dr. John. How are you?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm blessed. I'm hanging in there.
Very good. What's up?
All right. So I'm 19. I just got married 5 months ago.
That a
My
girl?
husband.
19, huh?
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm incredibly nervous, so I'm just gonna stumble through this here.
Oh, you don't. Yeah,
Um,
don't be nervous. But I know that's like saying don't have brown hair. Like you can't help that. So just be as nervous as you want to be.
all right. So my husband has been struggling with some digestive health issues that have kept him from eating, kept him from keeping the food down that he does eat, and so he's extremely malnourished and underweight. To provide just a 30-second background, we're both coming off of some pretty heavy childhood trauma. On my end, my dad is a disabled veteran with PTSD and a cancer survivor. So I've always kind of taken on a caregiver role, and doctors and hospitals have just been a complete constant in my life. And I kind of thought I was stepping out of that. And now my husband's dealing with this health concern. So the problem is, I've been in panic mode trying to get him to do all the steps he needs to take and heal, but he just kind of seems disinterested, like he's given up on himself. He's very hesitant to follow the doctor's diet or see personal counseling because the doctors have told us that it stems from his severe anxiety. So my question is, how can I help him to see the importance of his health when it feels like he's already given up?
You've had a rough go of it, sister. Are you tired?
I'm really tired.
And the men in your life are in pain, huh?
Yeah, and my husband is amazing, but he also struggles with some anger stuff, just like my dad did. And so I guess when I got married so young and left the house, I kind of thought that I was getting out of that situation.
No, we marry our unfinished business, as they say.
Yeah.
We marry our unfinished business. And that's a nerdy way of saying your body has been trying to solve your father for a long time. And it just moved that puzzle over to this new guy.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you, were you ever able to solve your dad?
No.
No.
I mean,
Just
things have gotten better between us, but
leave it there for a second and sit in that, because that hurts to say out loud.
yeah.
Because there's a 9-year-old little girl wondering why your dad keeps drinking and why your dad's so mad and why your dad is banging the cabinets in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep, scared to death out of your mind, trying to hide under your covers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You should not have experienced that as a little girl. I'm sorry. And
Thank you.
the way your body tried to solve that was by learning everything from every doctor and every medical textbook and every Google search you could find. Because you were going to solve and figure out what was wrong with dad. And I'm telling you right now, as a little girl, that wasn't your job. And I'm sorry that you had to take that on. It's exhausting. You should have been out playing with your friends and being ridiculous and going on dates and listening to Taylor Swift and just being silly. And instead, you were a home health care nurse to somebody who didn't want your help, right?
Right.
Where's mom in all of this?
She had to have a full-time job during most of that time, and I was homeschooled, so I was just in the house all day, every day.
So you were trapped inside of your own home with a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Can I tell you something that's going to sound weird?
Okay.
The way your nervous system is probably tuned up, peace will feel like stress for you.
It's interesting that you say that, because every time things start to feel okay, I feel like something's about to happen,
That's
if that
right.
makes sense.
It's the shoe gonna drop syndrome. That's not the technical term for it, but that's what I call it. And often waiting for the shoe to drop syndrome people, they run around and start whacking shoes out of people's hands just to go ahead and let them drop now. And they cause problems where there's not any. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. You're not broken, okay? There's not something quote unquote wrong with you. Your body's just trying to navigate a mess.
Mm.
And then you married a guy. What's his digestive challenges? Does he have Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, or what's he got?
They thought that, but the test came back and said that he has gastritis and IBS, and that they're only so severe because of his anxiety.
Oh, yeah, he's got psychosomatic challenges. Where's his anxiety stem from?
Well, his mom left in his high school years, and his dad is diagnosed bipolar.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, he was not at peace at home either.
Yeah, no kidding. Right, so an electric fence met an electric fence, and y'all fell in love, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is going to sound like a strange, invasive question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. But what does physical intimacy look like with you guys? Is it constant? Is it a safe place? Is it non-existent?
It's becoming more of a safe place. At the start of our marriage, it was feeling non-existent because I had so much anxiety around it. Like, is everything going to go perfect? And he kind of felt that for me, and he was feeling sick all the time, so it was physically challenging for him. So that has been a struggle for us.
Okay. How long have y'all been married?
5 months.
Okay. Can I let you in on a secret about being married?
Sure.
Nothing goes perfectly. Nothing. Even the greatest night of sex will have weird stuff to it. Sounds, smells, all of it. Even the most romantic date in the world will be weird or more expensive than you thought, or the waiter will look at you funny. It's just the way it is. And I'm telling you that as someone who also is an anxious person, where I found healing and peace was by opening my hand up and letting go. Because I was trying to control every variable, because controlling every variable felt like that was going to keep me safe in a world that feels out of control.
Yeah.
And what you end up doing is squeezing so tight you suffocate. Now, here's why. If you go back and listen to all the questions I've asked you, I haven't one time told you or given you anything on how you can, quote unquote, convince your husband to take care of himself. Because here's the demon: you can't. And until you drop your shoulders and weep bitterly into that reality, you're never going to be able to take a full breath, because your chest is going to be so tight all the time.
I get scared because he's sitting right above the lethal BMI for men now, and they're telling him that he has to do something right now.
I know. But do you realize there's an electric fence talking to an electric fence?
Yeah.
I think the greatest gift you can give him right now is peace. And the only way you can give something that you don't have is you got to go get it. And so the guy who trained me, Dr. Young, you can go back and listen to the episode. I actually had him on my show. He's one of my heroes. He used to train, one of the core training sentiments he always gave us was calm is contagious. And in your home, if every sexual encounter, every touchstone, I don't even say sexual encounter, but every physical interaction is electric, is performance-based, this has to go right or else, you'll starve each other of the thing you need most, which is peace in each other. And if every meal, you're counting every bite and every calorie, your husband will know every time he sits down to do something as silly as eat a meal, he is in front of a stage of thousands. And his body will go to fight or flight or freeze. And so there's something horrifying about making peace with somebody making their choices. And also, strangely, that's the only way when someone is just double over in anxiety. It's the only way they can begin to slowly exhale. It's peace. Putting out fires one by one by one. And so the thing that kept you safe as a kid, knowing every doctor appointment, talking to every doctor, knowing every medication, knowing all the AM pills and the PM pills, that will destroy your adult marriage. Because your husband doesn't need a mom. He just needs a safe place to land.
Mm.
And like, you haven't been married very long. You don't know how to do that. I've been married forever. I'm still learning how to do that. Right? And as soon as I think I've got what safe space means, my wife, she changes. She reads new books. She has new experiences. She has new spiritual insights, whatever, and she changes. So I got to reestablish what safety means. It's been and vice versa, right?
Mm.
And so the beauty of marriage is you don't just set it and forget it. It's a constantly evolving, amazing thing. How can I love you today? And the only thing I ask of you is to tell me the truth. You have to promise to tell me the truth. And if the greatest thing I can do to love you today is to not bother you about what you're eating, okay. But I'm still making dinner. I'm going to have something out here that's safe and it's delicious. And then at some point, you need to make the decision. I can't be in here and watch you long-tail. They call it long-tail suicide. I can't watch you just slowly wither away until you don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's a boundary I'm going to draw. I choose to not watch you die. And unfortunately, unless there's some diagnosable psychiatric challenges, it's hard to get a hospital to take away somebody's civil rights and commit them involuntarily, right?
Trust me, I've looked into it.
I know you have, especially in Texas.
Mm.
And so it's tough. It's tough. Does he say he's not hungry? Does he say he doesn't want to deal with his anxiety? What's his response to that?
He says he's hungry, but that it'll just hurt if he eats or if he doesn't, and so he doesn't want to deal with it.
Okay. Have they given him medications to help the pain?
Yeah, and they're not super effective. And if he sticks with the one he's on now, it'll be the first time he's actually stuck through with one long term. So I think that's another thing.
And so that might be a conversation you guys have with, hey, I want to commit to two things. Skin on skin contact. I just want to hold you. It doesn't have to be sexual. We're going to and it's a way to down regulate your nervous system. Brings peace. It's going to hold your foot. And by the way, I'm an anxious guy. I'm spun up a lot without even saying anything now. And I've been with the same person for, like I said, a quarter century, a long time. But I can be somewhere and I will just gently feel my wife's hand on my arm.
Mm.
Or she'll just grab my thumb. Or put her hand under the table on my knee. And it's just a reminder to me to drop my shoulders. There's something magic about skin on skin. Or hold his face for 10, 20, 30 seconds. Put your forehead on his forehead. And just be still there. And if y'all commit to asking each other, how can I love you today? And he goes first and tells you. And you respond to him, you can love me today by taking your medication.
Mm.
Even when you don't want to, that's a gift to me. You can love me today by doing what your doctor said. And you as a newlywed have to deal with or live in the reality that he might say, I'm not going to love you like that. Whew, that's hard. That's hard to hear, right?
Yeah.
But often that's a way to frame it as a partner, as a romantic interest, as someone who is ride or die, you and me versus the world. Showing up and telling somebody, you need to eat, you need to take your pills, you need to do this, that's just another parent telling them something that I'm not doing that. So in one way, I feel like I'm telling you it's like you're kind of powerless. In another way, I'm telling you the strength and power you have will come from the inside out, will become from peace, and it'll become from love, and it'll become from connection, not rules and finger pointing. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah. And when I'm in that situation and I'm feeling scared and anxious, I know that I come off as angry because of that frustration, and I know that sets him off and makes things worse.
Hold on. Whoa, no. He gets to choose that too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to empower you both. You get to look at your husband and say, when you choose to do things behaviorally that I know that the doctors told us are hurting you, I get to be upset about that. I have permission to be angry and heartbroken about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to choose whether he reacts to that. But the language in your house of you're making me and you're making, it's not true. That's just passing the buck.
Mm-hmm.
You get to choose anger. You get to choose frustration. You get to choose heartbreak when the man you love, the man that promised you till death do us part, ride or die, is like, I'm not going to take my meds. I'm not going to do what the doctor said. I'm not going to go to counseling with you. I don't want to address my anxiety. You get to be sad about that. It'd be weird if you weren't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just know your body's running a program. It's seen this before with your dad. A man that you loved, a man you were constantly asking, what am I not doing for you to get well and for you to love me? And I want you to hear me say, it's not about you with him, with your dad, and it's not about you with your husband. They both have demons that they have to decide, I want to heal. And for you, somebody that's been trying so hard to be seen, of being worthy of being loved, I want you to hear me say, you are. Okay?
Mentally, I can know that it's their choice, but it still just feels like if I figure out the right code, the right sequence of words, then things would be different.
They won't. I know. I say this with a smile on my face. You don't have that kind of power. This is never about information. They both know.
Yeah.
That's why I think the only path is peace. The only path is love. The only path is boundaries. So I think beginning, like just starting today, I'm going to send you a copy of Building a Non-Anxious Life. I'm going to send you two, one for you and one for him. And I want you to ask him, one of the ways you can love me is I want to read this book together. It's this goofball podcast that I listen to. This guy's silly, but will you read it with me? This would be a neat way you could love me. And maybe let him know, I've been hassling you about diet. I've been hassling you about these things. I'm going to stop because it's not working. And I want to be your wife, not your mom. But I love you to the moon and back. I love you more than life itself. And I get to be heartbroken when I'm watching you act in some of these ways. And I'm going to work on me. I'm going to work on finding and practicing peace. I've never had that in my life ever, and I'm going to practice that now because I'm tired of practicing fighting and solving and electrocuting everybody. And Jane, I want you to commit to going to see a counselor, okay?
Okay.
There is healing from your anxiety. And it might be that your husband begins to feel peace in his life. And he begins to say, oh, I want that. I want that. And I want y'all to start each day and end each day with some skin-on-skin contact. I want you to start each day and end each day with, how can I love you today? Okay? Does that work?
Yes. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And I've been meaning to get the Non-Anxious Life book, so I'm excited.
I'll send you 2 copies, one for you and one for him, okay? I want y'all to both read it. And I want you to call anytime. But this is serious enough for you and for him that I want you to get some professional counseling and therapy, put it in your budget, figure it out. Don't go out to eat, whatever. But I want you to go get some professional help. You've been through the ringer. Your body's tired and you're only 19. You have a wild, rambunctious life left to live. He does too. You need this isn't something that's going to be solved on a YouTube show or a podcast. You need to go get some professional help. I believe in you. Thank you so much for the call. Call anytime, Jane. And if you want to, your husband can call also. Or if he wants to, he can call too.